Welcome everyone! Today I'll be showing you the process of how I made my submission for Kyros Workshop's Final Boss collaboration. Starting with a Jane Boolittle from Monster High, I start sketching out her eyes with my Faber-Castell watercolour pencils. I also add pigments to the lips, and I use a wet brush to blend the colours together. I use pan pastels to lay down my first layer of blushing. I use a pale pink where I will later go in with red and pink blushing to help it appear more vibrant. After another layer of Mr. Super Clear, I just continue to build up colour and add detail. This includes shadows around her eye socket and laying a base of chalk pastels where her eyebrows will eventually go. Using a super sharp watercolour pencil, I start feathering in her eyebrow hairs. I really love this step of the face up, and I think these are probably my favourite eyebrows I've done so far. I just really love the way that they're sculpted. Let me know what you think. Throughout the face-up process, I add about 3 or 4 layers of glitter and mica powders. The Mr. Super Clear tends to mattify a lot of the shine, so building up multiple layers can help overcome that. I feel like I'm still trying to come up with a style of eyelashes that I'm really happy with. At the moment I'm really enjoying giving my dolls only a few top lashes, say 5 or 6. But I'm not sure I've quite mastered the application. I think for this character, her chunkier eyelashes suit her, but next time I'll definitely try to make them a little more delicate. And of course to finish, I gloss the eyes and lips. This doll is inspired by a fear of small, dark spaces, so I wanted to install a dark, wet cave into her stomach. I started sketching out a general shape and then went in with my Dremel tool. I had to use quite a few different attachments to get into that little space, but I eventually hollowed her all out. I knew I wasn't going to give her much clothing, so I made sure to take extra care to sand off any factory seams, and of course her sculpted underwear, which definitely has to be my least favourite part of customizing. I would love to know what your favourite and least favourite steps are, so please let me know in the comments below. I used some paper clay to smooth out her insides. I chose this type of clay because of how lightweight it is. I knew I was going to be adding stones and resin, so I wanted to keep her as light as possible at this point. And of course I painted all black with acrylic paint. Even though I want her to be dark and scary, I ended up installing an LED bulb. I thought it would interact with her cave stomach thing in a really interesting way. I drilled a hole in her back so I could access the wires to turn her on and off, and then held the bulb in place with some milliput. And so the stoning begins. I filled her entire stomach cavity with stones in different shades of black, grey, purple and dark blue. I'm allergic to fungus and mushrooms, so I thought adding some would be a perfect touch for a doll inspired by fear and dark wet caves. I bought these little plastic mushrooms and made my own alcohol dye by pulling apart a Sharpie marker and mixing it with rubbing alcohol. Please, if you decide to ever do this, wear gloves. My fingers were stained for days. To create the look of wet cave walls, I add a layer of UV resin to her insides. I also use the resin to keep the mushrooms in place. Once the resin was cured, I taped up the cave to protect it and started blushing her body. I think body blushing is such a beautiful detail which can often be overlooked. And again, because she won't have much clothing, I wanted to make sure I did a really thorough job. Using many shades of pink, purple and blue, I mix them all together to create a blotchy, textured skin, as well as bringing out the shadows and highlights of her body's contours. And of course it gets some glitter as well. To blend the cave feature in with the rest of her body, I start adding more rhinestones. I start with black and then move on to dark purple and finish with light purple to try and create a blended ombre effect. I also add stones to her hands. I imagine her super earthbending powers would shoot out of her hands, so I liked the idea that there would be some residue there. I unfortunately lost all of the footage of the hair process. However, I did try a new technique for the first time, and I'm definitely not an expert. So if you'd like to see how I made these extra long hair wefts from acrylic yarn, please head to Instagram and check out Hikihikiksu. She has a really comprehensive explanation. I originally just wanted her to have long, straight hair, but I didn't like that it covered most of her eyebrows. So I ended up giving her a few small braids around her face and part line, but unfortunately that footage is lost as well. To make her shoes, I took the soles from a pair of Monster High heels. I cut a foot stencil from some black felt. This will become the insole of the shoe. I use ribbon to create the straps, measuring it on a doll foot and then gluing it to the bottom of the felt piece. The model I'm using is a doll from the Creator Monster line. All the joints of these dolls can be taken apart, so I really recommend using one to create shoes or clothes. Out of the ribbon, I make one strap to go over her toes, two long pieces that will tie up her leg, and a loop at the heel which will catch the two long pieces and secure the foot in from the back. And then again, I start the long process of rhinestoning. I think to stone these two tiny shoes took me almost 3 hours. It would have been faster if it was all one colour, I think, but I wanted to create this ombre from black to light purple, and positioning all the stones in that way took up a lot of extra time. So that she wasn't completely naked, I made a shoulder wrap for her. I added 2 sets of pleats in the ribbon. This is to mimic the natural fold of material when it's life-sized. In miniature, fabric doesn't have the weight to drape in a natural way, so I'm just faking it here a bit. At the last minute, disaster struck as her neck snapped as I was trying to put her head back on. Thankfully, I could glue it back together, but it took 3 tries with different glue. Finally, I used a 2-part epoxy glue which did the trick, but let me tell you, it was a very scary few days. I thought I might have to make her a whole new body. To cover the scar, I gave her a choker, which I actually think ties the look together with her shoes really nicely. I named her Eunji, which is a Korean name meaning earth. I hope you love her.
Come on.
If you liked this doll or this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on Instagram at Mr. Super Customs. Have an awesome day.